This show is in loving memory of Olive Hall, a wonderful woman very close to all our hearts at Beyond the Ropes. Gone, but never forgotten.
The Beyond the Ropes podcast is proud to support the Kai Prince Foundation. Go to www.thekpf.com to donate or support the foundation on their mission of bringing people together to end violence. Founder, Dr. Mark Prince's best-selling book, The Prince of Peace, is available on Amazon and other major retailers.
My style is impetuous, my defense is impregnable, and I'm just ferocious. I want your heart, I want to eat his children.
But it ain't about how hard you hit, it's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done.
Hi, welcome to Beyond the Ropes. It's me, Michael Prime, joined today. Sean Mansfield, Dwight Best. David is an absentee today. First of all, apologies for last week's show. We did record it, but due to a non-boxing related injury, it disappeared from the hard drive, so we couldn't upload it. So it's such a shame because I'm going to say it, even if it doesn't sound honest. It was maybe one of the best shows we've ever done. It was up there, like top 3 shows. Dwight wasn't there, so that was definitely right.
Yeah.
But the questions we got in, we're going to recap a few of them because there were some good ones that led on to some great topics, and then we'll carry on with the rest of this week's. But it is, as we always start now, time for a purge. You're going to get 2 for 1 because I need to repurge what disappeared last week. But we'll let Sean go first. Okay. Fresh in the mind. Sean, what are we banishing from boxing this week?
This week we're banishing pound for pound rankings because they don't mean anything. And the latest reason for banishing them is that if Luke Campbell beats Lomachenko, apparently he becomes the best pound for pound fighter in the planet. Yeah. And that just can't be right. He's not even won a world title in any weight division yet. And you can't steal somebody else's career just with a win against them. So
tell that to Tony Bellew.
That's
Andy Ruiz.
Yeah.
He has stolen it.
I mean, I think you need to do it in like different weight divisions to say you're pound for pound. I don't really think it means anything because the heavyweight is always going to be the best, isn't it? Like, he's going to beat everyone else in every other weight division.
I think Tyson Fury said this a few years back, didn't he? He said it.
So if you all have a fight, then yeah.
So who's going to win, Tyson Fury or a little 10 stone? I say little. Yeah. Objectively,
and it's like, I understand what it's supposed to mean. It's like he's better in his weight division than he is in his weight division, but I think it was when Rocky Fielding was fighting Canelo. Apparently, if he beat Canelo, he was going to take his place in the rankings. It's like, no, it doesn't work like that.
As much as I hate it, if we weren't going to banish it, Canelo's probably one of the only people at the moment, one of the only active people you would look at as holding that, because he is someone that has worked their way through.
Yeah, I mean, every year we do our pound for pound top 5 or whatever.
It won't be this year. They're gone now. Thanks, Sean.
But if
short show at
Christmas. Say if Jamie McDonald had beaten Inoue, like Inoue was in my top 5. It doesn't mean McDonald's in there.
Can you imagine the state of our top 5s at the end of the year?
Yeah, I mean, then people luckily never win, so it's fine. But I just can't stand it. And this week, the last few weeks of Eddie Hearn saying that Luke Campbell will become the best fighter on the planet if he beats Lomachenko is just nonsense.
Yeah, it doesn't work like that.
Yeah, I think that's more Eddie Hearn gassing everyone up, like just, talking shit as he normally does.
It's worked.
He's in.
he's rattled the cage.
Right now, Eddie is in major deflect mode. He is walking around with riot shields.
Yeah,
just knocking away questions he doesn't want to hear right now, and just talking about Luke Campbell and Lomachenko.
Yeah, he's doing alright, Eddie Hearn. To be fair, the way what he's doing, I think. It's kind of working. Sky are doing well.
What we said last week, it's not verifiable, but we just said that nothing was going to happen with this Dylan White stuff. We spoke about it at length for a long time. We said nothing will change. Nothing's going to be said, and it's just going to go away. And everyone will just stop talking about it. And we're already getting to that point now.
Yeah.
It's not even been 2 weeks, really, 2.5 weeks.
It's a very confusing situation.
Like, how long does it take to test a B sample?
Yeah.
But I don't think it's very confusing at all. I think he's obviously failed a test.
He's failed a test somewhere.
Yeah.
VADA said they passed it.
Well, he didn't fail a VADA
Yeah.
one, he failed a UK one. But it's like, well, just...
So maybe they weren't from the same stream of urine. Like, if they're from they could be from a few hours apart, a few days apart, and
they
have a major difference.
They're testing all the same substances.
They have different lists, as we found out with Billy Joe Saunders. So it's nonsense. I reckon this is one of those ones. It's going to get buried away.
But Billy Joe Saunders, it seemed to have it came out, like, I can remember it was the night we did our thing at World Cinema, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It came out that day. Pretty much within like hours it came out, like what it was, what the reason could be. It's like this, the fact they've had a hearing and explained why it isn't that bad to allow the fight to go ahead means the information's already been provided. So just provide it to us.
Like you said, this has clearly already been concluded.
Yeah.
It's just legal shit now about who has said what, who can and can't say what.
But do you not think it's because they've got it wrong?
Yeah.
And they should have actually disclosed it to the other side.
I really do. But
they've made like a commercial decision.
But as we've discussed previously, in like even just in personal stuff, Remas will be signed back up to Matchroom. He'll get a couple of fights out of this.
Oh yeah, of course.
He'll be on the Joseph Parker and probably Hughie Fury kind of
yeah.
I don't know, kind of that line.
There we go around.
Yeah. The same as we saw with Joseph Parker. You get your big fight. You don't get the full purse you probably promised, but you're going to get another fight where you're going to get a good bit of change for it. And Remas will be exactly the same. He'll get handsomely compensated to keep this out of.
Yeah, we'll make it worth your while.
Case, yeah. The last thing Matchroom need right now is another one of their heavyweights getting screwed over. Suddenly, the poster boys are Martin Bacoli and David Price.
Hughie Fury, you know.
We'll move on to that in a minute. Because
I'm fuming about that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not, but I didn't even have that on the agenda, but I think that's a good one. I think that came out last Wednesday or something. So we probably just recorded when it came out.
Yeah, mate.
But the questions we wanted to crack on with from last week, we can do both in one go because they're obviously both related to the same topic. One came from Tony Moss 15, and it said, "Had a thought on two recent deaths in the ring and Peds. There's always a lot of talk around drugs and boxing, and it won't be taken seriously until someone dies in the ring. I'm not suggesting the two opponents of the guys that died were juicing, but to prove or disprove the above theory, do we know if the two fellas will have been additionally tested? It's horrible what's happened, but this is an opportunity right here, isn't it?"
We covered this last week, and it was quite interesting where we went with it, because what was the question's basically like, if someone injures somebody or kills someone in the ring, does the person who does it get tested? That extra, like whether or not they were tested before, and it sort of opens up the thing that, okay, well, in that sense, then does the person who died also get tested? Because what if they were using as well?
Yeah,
and it goes like a really, I think it goes down quite a bad line. I just think it's
and my thoughts on this were that, again, it's not always just the detrimental stuff isn't always caused just by
someone's breaking in.
You know when you think, I don't actually know what that noise was, but I'm not prepared to find out. Well, lost my train of thought. I'm like Joe Joyce now. Throw some names at me. What was I talking about?
Pacquiao.
Oh, right, okay. So Peds. Right, I'm completely lost it. Right, no.
Lost it.
Yeah,
you genuinely have.
It's
Okay.
well gone. What were we talking? We were talking about
Peds.
Yeah.
About Peds.
About whether there should be.
Oh right, so yeah, the detrimental stuff. You know, it's just all like, I've got a sweat going on now.
It was a little bit embarrassing.
Yeah, I might just edit that out. Pretend I didn't. Right, so it's not always detrimental effect of Peds that we need to be looking at, because there's obviously other contributing factors. Like a lot of people are getting injured in the ring because they are boiling down to ridiculous weights. You're seeing them at weigh-ins where they can barely stand up. The second they step off the scales, they're like taking hydration pills. They are drinking straight because they're literally at death's door.
Yeah.
So they can hit a weight limit.
So do you think there should be like as well as a weigh-in, do you think there's got to be like not a hydration, like a water content test as well done at the same time?
I think that would be amazing.
Yeah.
Because you must be able to do that. Obviously,
you're going to get a lot of people moving up weights.
But then this is where we start seeing people fighting at their natural weights.
Just fight the right way. It's simple as that.
Again,
but unless everybody does it, you're going to get some people who massively lose out.
But that's it. Because again, as we said with all drugs testing, we said it for the longest amount of time. The system that they implement needs to be able to be implemented across all levels of the sport.
Yeah.
So if you're going to your call, you need to have two guys having a weigh in there. Are they going to be able to have that same test? Probably not.
But it can't be that difficult.
Well, this is what you would think, and this is again when we talk about drugs. You've got these labs that test, like VADA use their own specialised places. UCAD had their own specialised places. Dylan White says it costs $40,000 to have the testing for that one for UCAD, not for UCAD, for VADA, for this fight. $40,000. Why is it so expensive? Because it's not a big industry.
No, it's true.
But you also got to have people, like I saw Andy Yard interview this evening, and he was saying VADA tested him when he was in Vegas, just because he went to Vegas for a weekend. So you're basically paying someone's wage as well as the actual testing. You're paying someone to be where you are, and probably their accommodation, their travel.
Yeah, but then again, this is what, if for me it's another conflict of interest. I find it really bizarre that people will say, "Oh, but he failed the UCAD test, but he passed the VADA one," and it's like, well, which one does he pay $40,000 to?
Yeah.
If he fails the test and he can't fight for 6 months, he's not paying VADA for more tests for that 6 months, is he?
Yeah.
Where that money's not coming in. You could have got nothing to gain by testing you and you failing it.
Yeah.
VADA, if you fail their test, and I'm not saying by any stretch of the imagination that they are doing anything dishonest or untoward, but if you fail their test, they have literally hurt their turnover. And again, I feel that's a massive conflict of interest.
Yeah.
It's a bizarre one. It's like the whole. It's like when you're at a dentist and you want to get out of there without paying any money.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh yeah, this I know this is this needs to be done, so you need to get it done, yeah." And it's like, "How much is it?" "Oh, it's £240." And it's like, "Well, do I really need this doing then?" It's like it's in their interest to make that work.
Of course.
It's a strange one for me.
So the UK one is totally independent to it, and I said they got nothing to gain from it, have they? So, and if he's failed that one, you're more than likely to say that he's failed. He's failed the drug test.
And this is where we are. We're 2 weeks further on, and still nobody knows about this marinating B sample. It's just bizarre. How long can it take to test it? Where could that vial of piss have gone to? In reality,
they're probably waiting for somebody to lose it before they test it.
Yeah. Oh, the sticker's come off.
Yeah, the ink has got to fade away.
Yeah.
It's not even.
We wrote the label before we pissed on it, and now it's all fucking faded. Yeah, but no one can read it anymore. It could be his brothers. But the DNA doesn't match. I have to get him on Jerry Maguire. He's not your brother. Can you imagine Dylan White on Jerry Maguire? You're talking rubbish. We got way off topic here.
I miss it. I think we've missed out as well. We've missed out on all
the missed Jerry Maguire there.
A little bit, yeah. But we've missed out on all the enjoyment of, apart from all this drug stuff. There would have been some really funny interviews about this brother thing from Dylan White.
I know, but he's not allowed to say anything to anyone at the minute, is he? Coogan's fuming, like his views are going down. That's why there's so many Eddie interviews at the minute. He needs to keep that revenue up.
Well, I think Dylan White might need to do this interview on his own boxing channel to keep his own revenue up after this, because it cannot end well either way. Even if he gets cleared, it's not going to be good.
No, because he's got that. It's going to be labelled, isn't he?
And the WBC have already. I think it was last week. It was as we were recording. They put out their statement saying they were suspending him from their rankings, which again is astonishing. You look at it, that he's turned down like multiple world title fights.
Yeah.
Or offers for mandatories
to chase this WBC.
To chase the WBC for 600 days, and now he's got to the cusp of challenging for it, and
he's failed it.
Potentially thrown it all away, or had it ripped away.
They haven't said what he failed on, have they?
No, this is what I mean. This is all so strange. When it was Billy Joe Saunders, the same day that the story came out, You knew what the substance was he'd failed on, the reason that he'd taken it or had it in his system, and like a legal excuse for what it was, and how it's the governing bodies, and they got different different results you're allowed to have, and that was all there readily available. And Eddie Hearn went to town on them.
Has a matchroom fighter failed a drugs test that we know about?
While they've been with them, there must be. I can't think of anyone top of my head.
Yeah, they probably have. They probably just swept it under the carpet, like trying to do this one.
Yeah, and I think a lot of their fighters, we've spoken about it at length before. Matchroom, I think they've probably only got a small handful of fighters who are actually matchroom fighters, and they have a lot of people that fight on matchroom shows.
Yeah,
and are dispelled when they don't need it. They don't need them anymore. It's like, well, you can go off and fight for whoever you want now.
Yeah. No, I've no, I can't remember anyone that's actually failed a drugs test.
We definitely wouldn't have heard about this unless it got leaked.
And I love that Eddie's doing the interviews. Like, yeah, we know who leaked the story. It's like, all right, just leave it. It's happened. It's done. Whatever's leaked, it wasn't a lie. No one's like slandered you or anything. This has actually happened.
Exactly.
So you just got to take it on the chin. But it's his mental, because it's just all being brushed away, and it's just going to go on for so long. We're going to get an AJ announcement soon, and then everyone will forget all about it, and then it will just be a little footnote.
Well, it's the thing, like Sky Sports News sort of saying, oh well, he passed the VADA tests in and around the same date, but it wasn't the same date. So it must be a mistake, and they didn't say that, but it's almost like they put out stories if it's breaking news. It's like, well, if he passed all these other tests around it, so just ignore the one he failed. It's like, okay, well,
we've said it before.
AJ wins his next fight, let's just ignore the fact he lost the fight, then he won all the other ones around it.
It's impossible to quantify how much value you get. You know, like, everybody's got Sky Sports app, and you've got your breaking news on your phone. It pops up on it literally says breaking news, and it will say Dylan White passes VADA test. You'll be like, yeah, but he didn't fail a VADA test, so this isn't even news. Like, why are you telling me this? It's irrelevant. What that is that's like misinformation. It's propaganda. You're putting stuff out there to make you think a certain way with something that's irrelevant.
Exactly.
It's like information warfare.
I mean, obviously we all know it anyway, but it's like he's a matchroom fighter, and it's like that Sky Sports and Sky.
They're looking after their investment. Yeah. That's what it is.
That's it, and you can understand that. Like I say, if you look at it purely financial, you can understand that. Yeah. And this is where we went last week. That it's a funny one, because Eddie Hearn as a promoter does not have necessarily a moral obligation to tell the Rivas team. As a human being, he should do, but he's not going to do that, because he's thinking about his bottom line, his investment. And again, like I said, you look at it as a business, you can't argue with that. This is what, if you're running a multi-billion pound, you never know sort of company, you've got to make these sort of decisions. Whether or not they're ethically right, it's completely different. But that's business. That's
business. In my eyes, it's bang out of order, basically. And he's been comfortable doing it.
I mean,
simple.
And he's a bit of a cunt for that.
What's going on now? I mean, like, what could possibly be going on now? Why are they not coming out and saying that?
The only thing I can think of is this is one of those, you know, like the gagging orders, where it's like there are certain bits of this that cannot come out, and they are working their damnedest to make sure that certain bits of this story are not published.
It's a legal process now, isn't it?
But what that means is something bad.
I said it.
There is something to cover up. Similar.
There's something to cover up. Just don't have the fight. I mean, because they should have just not had the fight.
Financially, though. I mean, you think about financially, you must turn that down on the last minute. Pay-per-view. You're screaming for their money back, mate. You forked out on all this money, and then
but long term it could work out even worse.
Yeah.
Depending on what happens, like
I said, I personally think this ends very badly for Dylan White now, because if it starts to go south, they will throw him under.
We know that's what they do.
Of course.
He will be gone, and it will be, well, we didn't know. We did our best to help him, and then it's come out that he has been taking something, and he'll be gone. That's it. He's already not really a matchroom fighter. He fights under his own management. He's an independent person. That's it. So he could quite easily now
be expendable, isn't it?
Exactly. And if you watch, if AJ has his rematch and wins, they're not going to care about Dylan White. At the moment, he's their plan B.
Yeah.
And if your plan A is fucked, you need your plan B, which is where they're kind of at the minute. So they need to look after him. If plan A doesn't come back online, then
they can't drag this out until then, though.
But I wouldn't be surprised, because it's just all you've got to do is put enough information about other things out there for the interest to go away. People have already stopped talking about it. It was massive news, and it still
the problem is he's not getting the chance to. It's going to get to the stage where if it does work out badly for Dylan White, and it comes out that he did fail a test, and that they should have told everyone else, Matchroom are going to say, "Oh well, we're only the promoter."
Yeah,
and
we don't run this team. We're not in this camp.
And it's going to be like Dylan White hasn't had the chance for a month to say anything.
Yeah,
he's been sort of gagged.
He's been told not to say anything. But I can see him being absolutely thrown under the bus with this. As soon as it starts to go south, it'll be right, mate.
What have you done?
Yeah, we didn't know what he was doing.
Well,
we tried our best to help him out of the situation.
Done it before. It'd be all that sort of stuff.
I hope he's preparing his defence at the moment, mate. I really do. I mean, if he's guilty, he's guilty. But like, do you know what I mean? I hope he's preparing something. Like, not just gonna lie down and take it.
I just still find it astonishing how many people jump to his defence.
Yeah. Do you know what? One of my boys messaged me and said, was saying, but I hope it's not true. I hope it's not true. I said, why? I said, fuck that.
So did you have that same energy for Jerome Miller when his story came out?
Or for Canelo?
Yeah.
You know, everyone's still calling him a cheat. Everyone's still saying the same.
And I always will.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean?
But I mean, this has obviously happened before because we weren't supposed to know about it, and we wouldn't have known about it otherwise. So you just have to assume it's happened before.
And I said to you, the fact that this was all done so swiftly, and they had that little chat in the press conference where the microphone was on and it shouldn't have been on. They know how this process works.
Yeah.
Like, how difficult would it be to get all of those governing bodies lined up to have a hearing that quickly?
Yeah.
And be ready and pass and ready to fight. You know who you need to speak to. You know how to expedite it. You know how to get through that.
But I'd just love Coogan or somebody to say to Eddie Hearn, has this happened before to one of your fighters? Because he seems to know the process so well. Like, oh yeah, we don't even have to tell the other side. It's not for us to tell them. It's
I've
like,
looked at the rules.
But it's like, for me, that's very surprising. And I'd imagine if he didn't know about that he would have found that surprising as well.
Yeah.
That, I don't even have to tell anyone. That it doesn't sound right. So I'd be amazed if that hasn't happened to some of their fighters before. But it's just I've never known a situation where no one's had to say anything.
Yeah. And again, that just comes down, like we said, it's just a moral obligation. Should you have to say it? And as a human being, you probably should.
It's unfortunate for Eddie Hearn as well.
As a business person.
Like the timing of it, like after the Gerald Miller stuff, after the Billy Joe Saunders comments that he made about Billy Joe Saunders got Andrade the belt.
Yeah.
It's like, he said he's contradicted himself so badly here.
And again, it blew up massively due to the fact there were obviously 2 boxing related deaths within like days of this happening.
Yeah.
And it just exacerbates the situation. It makes it seem so
really,
much worse.
It's really unlucky timing, like, for the whole thing, because they're not really
they're not related.
They're not related at all.
If you're Dylan White, it's the perfect storm for him. He's sat in the centre of it. But again, these are questions that need to be asked. They need to be answered, and we're just no closer to getting anywhere with it. 2 weeks on, 2 weeks plus now, and still no one knows anything except that he failed a test and still had a fight.
Yeah.
But what's the plan? Do you reckon it's just keep quiet?
I honestly
release a little statement and hope to get away with it.
It'll be a misinformation thing. It'll just be he was allowed to fight. The rules still state he was allowed to fight, and they're just going to keep dragging it on. You'll get an AJ announcement, and the AJ stuff will be in little. It'll be compartmentalized. So you'll get, we're going to fight on this date. We still haven't agreed a place. Then it'll be right. We're going to fight here, this city. We still haven't agreed a venue. You're going to get big. Like little chunks of this information.
They're already doing it though. AJ's been on
little
TV.
chunks of the information, and they'll stretch this out to the point where that just becomes the main focus of absolutely everything. And then they'll start announcing the undercard, and you'll be excited about this and excited about that, and then suddenly you'll forget all about Dylan White.
Or you'll find out like Dylan White. Oh yeah, he's a technicality. He did fail, but we think he's innocent. But he's got a 6-month backdated ban, which is over in the end of the year, and he'll have his fight at the end of the year. He wasn't going to fight in that time anyway.
That's exactly what I think will happen. He probably will get a ban. It'll be a bullshit one like Jerome Miller's one. fact, it'd probably be less than that. Jerome Miller got caught with 4 substances and got a 6-month ban.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
you're getting like a 45-day suspension for each drug you found with. So Dylan White could probably fight again in 2 weeks or some shit.
Yeah.
Because that's the way that the WBC seemed to work.
Yeah.
They'll be wishing him happy birthday in a couple of weeks. That's how they roll.
They probably won't. They'll probably suspend him from their rankings for 2 years.
I love that people think this is a WBC conspiracy as well.
I really think that WBC just don't want him on their rankings.
Oh, so you're into this?
No, I'm not into the conspiracy theory about that. But I just honestly think that they don't give a shit about him.
I can just imagine like some like WBC ninjas in like a bright green like morph suit, just like cartwheeling around and just sprinkle some shit into that piss bottle.
I hope it's like green, mate. It's not very discreet, is it?
No, it's WBC, baby. It's WBC. It's made out of intercontinental and international belts.
Yeah, shiny, yeah.
That's it.
Shiny plaques all over them, yeah.
So you just like blend into the wall at Matchroom HQ. It's my WBC intercontinental. Yeah, one of them ones. So yeah, I think I can't remember when we get into this question now.
It was that was my purge.
Oh yeah. Oh wow.
Yeah.
25 minutes to purge, and we went into a question with that as well.
Yeah, about the drugs and that.
We did. Very quick question then before I hit my purge. I've re-hit my purge again, and it's a question for the pod. This is from North Bank Bren. It's a zero tolerance approach to ped taking in boxing viviable or realistic? And my thought, are we keeping you awake, Dwight? Sorry.
No, you're not keeping me awake, mate.
Okay, just checking. My thought process on that is it's absolutely not viable. I can't even remember what I said last week now, but now I just think there'll be no boxers left.
Yeah.
There will be, and it upsets me to say that, but I genuinely now just think there will be no fighters left if this is what we do.
You think everyone's on the juice?
I think 95% of boxers are on it.
It's so funny.
And when I say that, I mean, I'm not talking guys that are fighting at York Hall. I'm not talking small hall fighters, because I don't think it would be financially viable for them to be juicing. But I think that the elite athletes,
I think
they got on it now.
I think they got even more of a reason to juice though.
They would, but again, you got to think about what the pros and cons of this are. Like it can't be cheap to buy all this stuff and to go through the process of doing it. Like we're talking into the hundreds and the thousands easily. How much are these guys making from their ticket sales to be fighting? Until you start getting to the point where you're fighting arena fights, and even then necessarily you're not making.
I think until you get to a stage where you're probably training 2 or 3 times a day as well. I mean,
this is it
to get the maximum benefit of it.
If you're still doing 1 hour a day after work, how much are you getting out of some Nanjana or whatever it is, that sort of stuff?
Well, that stuff like Dylan White got caught with before though. Jack 3D. I mean, people been taking that in gyms, mate, just for their training sessions and stuff like that. So I mean, if you're saying something like that,
and what does that do?
That just like increase your blood flow and your heart rate and all that stuff like that, and just increases the veins and all that sort of stuff. I mean, it's the
other pre-workouts are available.
Other pre-workouts, yeah. Don't take that one. Fuck you.
Well, if you're not a boxer, go for it, man.
Nah, fuck you.
Apparently, it's good shit.
Nah, it don't do you good in the long run.
I reckon Dylan White's got shares in that.
Yeah.
It's worked out more beneficial to get caught taking it, and everyone's trying to buy it now.
Yeah, but like shit like that, I mean, people must be doing that. People must be checking up on the pre-workout sort of stuff. They must be doing it at small hall fights and everything like that. And like you said, there were no fighters left.
I genuinely think that we would just be in a place where there wouldn't be any fighters to be had. If we made everyone take a test, you have to take one weekly. You have to take one weekly. And this is what we came back to last week. I think this is what my take home with this was. You need to find a way to make it viable, to test people, to test everybody regularly. And until that can happen, this is what you're always going to have.
Yeah.
You need a way where you can.
It costs too much money though. It costs too much money.
This is what I'm saying, because there's such a small industry around it.
Yeah.
Like, imagine how many years ago, the diabetes test where you just click the thing on your finger, a drop of blood comes out, and they can test your blood sugar and all that sort of stuff. That would have cost thousands and thousands when that was first thought of.
Yeah.
But now there are millions of people around the world, in some of them probably some of the poorer countries in the world,
Yeah.
they sit there every morning and click it on their finger because it's been made financially viable for it to be rolled out. There must be a way that a drugs test can be done for that, even if it just checks the majority of things, and then when you get to a certain level, it starts looking for the intricacies that where you could possibly get around it. There has to be a way to do it. It can't just be that there's.
And we said this last week, didn't we? We said.
Well, how about this? How about this? Let's say, for instance, if your show is televised, simple as that, televised, you should have to pay a cut into that pot for the drug testing.
I think all boxing.
All round.
If you put any card on, I think it should be done. But I think that's
but then
I feel like you should do that.
But then if you do that for any card that you put on, the small shows will suffer the most on that.
They will initially, but again, you start building these things in. If you're talking about, you just need a percentage. And I'm not talking like there's a fixed limit. Like so, if you're doing a small show, you don't want someone to have to pay 10 grand for drugs testing because that's going to be excessive. But I'm talking if you could 1% of every boxing card. Now sometimes that's going to be.
Yeah, but
sometimes that's going to be 500 quid for the whole card. Sometimes that's going to be the best part, probably a few million quid.
Yeah, but the thing is though, for small fighters though, like that's going to hit them though. Either way, because
again, this is what I'm not talking about the fighters, but the promoters should have to.
Yeah, but that all shuffles down though, won't it?
It will do, but if we're talking a few £100 across a whole card, that's in the coffers.
Yeah, I suppose
it definitely is. If you're asking every fighter to put in an extra £10 to cover for their own safety as well, to keep their sport clean. And I, as a fan, if you tell me that the tickets have gone up £1, and you say that's the reason, I know that some people will be like, "Oh, well, fuck it."
Maybe
I don't want to go; it's getting too expensive. But
maybe we should ask that question to a few boxers. You know,
very different answers. Some people that sell tickets well will be like, "Yeah."
We were saying last week, you know, like you saying about if you could do like an instant blood test, and we're saying that like in cricket where they think there's a wicket. And it's like, they get the speaker, and it's like, did we hear a sound off the bat? No, but we've got to check the other system. But imagine at the weigh-in, like you've got, like especially the big fights, you have the weigh-in, they do the weigh-in, and it's like on the big screen, the weight is like, good. Now let's check the water levels in his body. Good.
That's what I was going to say.
and then literally they have to do a live blood test, like instant decision, and it's like shame them into it if they fail on stage and then the fight's off. It's like. They won't cheat if they're getting caught.
You wouldn't risk it, would you?
No.
You wouldn't risk it. Suddenly Jerome Miller's not having handbags.
Yeah, it's like, he's passed the weigh-in, he's passed the water test, but no, he's got steroids in his system. Fight off.
I just love the idea of that. And I think that's what we were saying. Like, imagine you had like a left and a right kind of axis on a clock, and it's like it's going left and right. It's like ooh. It become like the dance. Everyone's in a costume, like shouting along.
It would be good. But they even the weigh-ins aren't even weigh-ins now, really, for like the big shows, are they? It's all done behind closed doors beforehand.
They know who's going to make weight, who's not going to make weight.
But the fact they know that means that they must do other stuff and other aspects of it.
Of course.
I would hope so. Right. So that was an epic purge.
But like, sorry, to go on about the drug test again, like with the weigh-in, they do the weigh-ins earlier in the day so that they know they've made weight.
Yeah.
It's like, surely if it gets to the stage where Dylan White's spending 40 grand on drugs tests, surely it's worth him spending another 20 grand on drugs tests before his drugs test
to find out what he's
going to get away with, and what if he's going to fail, then it's going missing. No, you're just gonna. The people with the most money are always going to have the better chance of getting away with it.
Yeah,
that's true.
Right, I'm going to recap my purge from last week, and I still stand with it. I'm still really annoyed at it, and I want to purge moaning defensive fighters. Now, I've got no problem with defensive fighters. I love what they do in the ring. I love the art of hitting, not getting hit. But you cannot do that and then complain that the audience do not like you.
Oh, okay.
So this happened on a Matchroom USA card the other day. Fighter won. Convinced, I think it was like a shutout, 12 rounds, but he was from probably like the 4th, 5th round onwards. Was it Tevin Farmer? Was it?
Yeah.
He was being booed. The crowd wanted nothing to do with him. Then he came out at the end of it, and he was really angry that he was being booed. He's like, "Yeah, I'm in the ring. You're not in the ring. I'm taking the risks. I'm doing it." And it's like, that's fine. No one ever wants you to be getting hurt or to go home damaged, or you just got to go home to your family. That's
Yeah.
always the main priority. But when you got into boxing, you know what the fans want.
Yeah, of course.
Boxing is an entertainment sport. Fans want to be entertained. There are a small amount of people that will watch what he does and say, this is outstanding. I can sit there and appreciate it. The same way we used to say with Mayweather. You can sit there and think, it's a bit shit to watch. But sometimes you just sit back and you think, the skill level here is unbelievable.
Yeah.
But you cannot turn around to the fans and tell them that they're wrong for booing you, because they've gone there to see a fight.
They're paid their money, and let's be honest, like, you know, it's like, not to keep going back to football, but like, it's like when you pay your money to see your team play, and then the opposition just put everyone behind the ball for the whole 90 minutes. You think to yourself, fuck's sake, I've just paid all my dough, and they're just shutting up shop.
It's one way to get a result, but it's not fan friendly.
Exactly. You're paying to come to be entertained, and I'm fine. That's fine. They're doing what they can to get the win. That's fine. But like, if I then say this is shit, I don't like it, I'm never coming to watch you fight again. Take what I'm saying. That's it, mate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Simple as that.
I completely agree.
Don't complain about it. Don't have a gripe about it, because they're paying your bills.
That's it.
Without the fans, you ain't getting paid nothing.
And this is what I said. This is not new information to you as a fighter. When you become a fighter, you go into the industry knowing that people want to see knockouts.
Yeah.
They want to see a fight.
Yeah.
It's very rare you're going to get 20,000 people in an arena who are fans of the art of boxing.
Yeah. And that's fair enough, because not every fighter can do that. And these guys, they're going in there to earn a living, like we all do. We go to work to earn a living. So they're going in there to earn a living, and they can't all knock people out. They can't all, you know, be pumping out jabs and body shots like that are amazing and entertaining for the crowd. But at the same time, you know, there is an element of where, you know, people are not going to be happy with your performance, and they're going to let you know whether it's whether you come out for one round, you got sparked out, or you got beat up for one round. People are complaining that they pay all this money to watch you fight, or whether you just produce a complete bore fest. They pay their money, so they have the right to air their opinions. Simple as that.
That's it. Yeah.
Simple as
absolutely. Like I said, I would never. I'm not just throwing defensive fighters in there because I love the art of it.
Yeah.
And you just want fighters to get in, earn their money, and get out of the sport.
Yeah.
But you have to appreciate that if you want to make big money,
yeah,
and
if you're getting paid big money as well,
that's it.
You're getting paid big money. That's even worse.
Well, if you're getting paid big money, it's because people are paying big money to see you.
Yeah.
Unless it's like you're a Mick Hennessy fighter. So they're going to expect a certain type of fight.
Yeah.
There are exceptions to the rule, like obviously Floyd Mayweather's exception, but people paid a lot of money to see him because they wanted to see him lose.
Yeah.
He wasn't popular. People wanted him to be beaten.
Yeah.
So every time you got sucked into the narrative of, someone's going to beat him.
Yeah.
This is the new guy. I'm going to watch this. I'm going to pay my $100 pay-per-view, whatever it was in the States. And then it was just exactly the same thing. He just did 12 rounds of just not getting hit.
But on the flip side of that, what we're saying about Mayweather, like you can't watch a Mayweather fight and complain about Mayweather being defensive.
No, but again,
you can't, because you look at all these other fights and say what he's done. That's like the McGregor fight. Everyone was like, and even the Pacquiao fight. Someone at work said to me a couple of weeks ago, he was like, they should fight again because the other fight was shit. It was a shit fight. Mayweather's done nothing, and I was like, did you watch Mayweather before? Like, this is the first time you've seen him.
It's like, what he was always going to do.
Did you not see him before? Like, you know.
Yeah.
So there's that side of it as well, but at the same time, ultimately, on the bottom line is that people pay their money to go see you, whether it's football, boxing, hockey, whatever. And if you're shit and you put out a shit performance, people are going to let you know that they're shit. It's shit. As simple as that.
Yeah, and obviously the shit being objective here, that some people are just not fans of that
style. Yeah. Whether you're ducking and weaving punches, fine. You're not getting hit, but
That's it. It's the art. 'Cause like when Muhammad Ali was doing it, everyone was going, "Oh, it's amazing," but he didn't do it consistently for 12 rounds, and he was knocking people out.
Yeah.
Like, he can't
Huey
consistently
Fury does it for 12 rounds and
loses.
30 punches.
Loses on points.
Yeah. It's even worse when you pay for a fight, you pay to go see a guy fight, and then Huey Fury gets added to the card. So yeah, cheers, mate.
Listen, this is a stacked one, man. You should be loving this.
Cheers, mate.
Right, so we're done the Purge, yeah. So yeah, all you moaning defensive fighters, you're gone now. Sorry, you're in there with box rec and attractive women at the boxing. I'm just destroying the sport here.
Purging the fuck out of it.
We're gonna end up in a couple of weeks. We'll have nothing left. Which I'm just purging boxing now. Fuck it. It's a football podcast now. There'll just be nothing left in the sport. Right, let's move on. Do we go MTK or not? Do you know what? I've while we've got Sean, we spoke about this a little bit just before we started recording, and it's a question that's come in from North Bank Brand as well. And it's: do you think Canelo's statement hints at a Golden Boy breakup? Now, for people, if you haven't read the statement or seen the statement, he's a bit pissed off now, isn't he? Because he's been stripped of his IBF belt last week. And I love this, by the way, not necessarily because I've got nothing against Canelo in a minute, but the IBF are just doing what they should do. Right? They're not bending the rules for anybody. And fair play to them. They're like the only ones at the minute that these are our rules, abide by them, or piss off.
I think they're known for doing that. There's no real issue because they're known for doing it. But if they all did that, no one would bother trying to win any of the belts because people like Canelo don't want to be fighting the people that Kell Brook fought, for example, like that sort of standard. So yeah, it's kind of good, and it's just a belt that the real elite fighters probably just won't ever really want that much.
Do you reckon this is how we're going to end up with more franchise belts because of things like this?
I think it's only really the IBF though, isn't it?
I think so, but I mean, what is it with the franchise belt at the minute? So he's the franchise champion, but then I suppose the WBC, whatever, like the full belt, can still be won by someone else, can't it? And Canelo will remain the franchise champion. Yeah, and I
guess the proof will come depending on who wins that belt.
Yeah, so this.
If that belt is won by somebody who's like a average fighter, why should he have to fight him?
Yeah, and I think this is probably what will happen now. We'll end up with a lot more of these kind of elevated statuses for fighters. So if they don't want to have these mandatories, they can just go, "Oh fuck it, I'm not."
If they called it super champion, it's just, I think it's the word franchise that pisses people off. It's basically just like a super champion, isn't it?
Yeah. But in fairness, we've been trying to get, not us personally, but they've been trying to get rid of that. Even WBA they say they've been trying to get rid of it, and yet they keep throwing in interim champions. And then when somebody like is elevated to the full title, then they get people to fight for the interim again.
Yeah, I've got to say the only good thing about the WBC is like the belts are better. Like for the super champion will have a better belt. Like they get progressively worse as you go down. Whereas like WBO, WBA, they all look the same.
Dylan White's got photos right now that looks like he looks like he's the world champion.
It's the same shit though.
Yeah, like
it's a
full
belt
size replica. They are massive as well.
All it is a belt with a couple with less stickers on it, mate. That's all it is, mate.
Yeah, because no one's won that continental championship before. It's just got Dylan White on it.
Exactly, mate.
A little gold coin with him on it.
Less coins strapped to the belt, mate. That's what it is, man. It's all shit though. It's all shit. I think they've made a big mistake. I think like stripping Canelo. All good. It was a massive mistake. It's like you said, they just look at it and think to themselves, oh, "Fuck them, fuck the IBF."
Yeah,
it's gonna go down.
Or it's gonna be the last one. If someone's trying to unify, I'll be like, "Oh,
I'll do that last."
And they miss out on all them unifications leading up to that.
Yeah.
So but that's the way they are. So it's fine.
Do it last, and then just
vacate it.
Yeah, vacate it straight away.
So who's gonna pick up this vacant IBF?
It's gonna be potentially Billy Joe Saunders and Chris Eubank, isn't it? That'd be good.
It just seems like there's two leagues at the moment of like middleweights, Do you know that and I'm not saying that in terms of ability that they're not all in the same category, but you've just got kind of these like super elite guys like your Canelos and your I'm using the term loosely, like your Golovkins and your Jacobs and stuff, and then you've got all these British guys underneath who are, in theory, they are right there with them, but they just seem to be a level below in terms of their stature and status. See, when you just said that, I was like, oh yeah, I suppose they could.
No, it won't, because
Derevchenko
has got. He's like, he was the mandatory, wasn't he?
Yeah.
The guy who lost to Jacobs. It's like, what's the point in him fighting someone who's lost to Jacobs?
Yeah.
So I guess it'll be probably a rematch of that, won't it? Eddie Hearn will get that going. Jacobs will probably win the belt. Then he can do Jacobs, Andrade, and all that. And he's got Saunders. Well, he's probably going to have Saunders.
Yeah, he'll definitely pick up. It makes sense for him to sign with Matchroom or DAZN, which I suppose is, for all intents and purposes, the same organisation.
And he can't get any of the fights without. They're all there, aren't they?
Yeah. You either stayed where you were, or you go here. They're your only options at his weight. Unless you want to fight for the IBO.
Yeah. So the question is it a Goldenboy breakup? If it is, I mean, I'm sure the amount of money that was involved with Canelo, they'll get a massive payout. I mean,
the severance of that would be astronomical. I loved De La Hoya as a fighter, but he seems like a real smarmy fucker as like a promoter or manager type of person. Like, like the worst kind of person you can hope to deal. Like Don King kind of style. Yeah. And maybe I'm doing him a disservice here, but from the outside looking in, he seemed horrible in the sport. The only way he talks to other fighters, and it's because he sits there with Canelo, who's obviously the sport's golden goose at the moment, and he's so smug and arrogant, and I actually can't stand him. And I would love it if Canelo was like, do you know what, now fuck you. I don't like the way you do this, and you're doing me a disservice, because maybe Canelo did want to fight for that belt. Maybe he wants to fight more than twice a year. Just let me have this fight, let me just bang this guy out. I can do a quick 6-week camp, cycle off, and be fine. Yeah. I'm joking. I don't.
But I mean, realistically, I can't believe that. It wouldn't surprise me if Canelo's released that statement just for the benefit of his own fans, like, because he's lost a belt and it doesn't look good when you give up a belt. But realistically, why would he have fought that guy?
I agree with you.
Yeah, he would never have fought that guy.
But maybe the issue is this is obviously not the first time this has happened with Canelo as well. Obviously, he lost his WBC via email or whatever how you say it. Like, he wasn't in the ring when he lost that belt, and it seems like that's the way he loses his belts. And that maybe it's good management. I think we spoke about it obviously in the run up to the Triple G stuff. It was probably the best choice at that point to not do it, to be stripped of that belt. But maybe it's good management, maybe it's bad management. Maybe, obviously, that's the only thing he would be able to decide when he looks at what his options are.
I mean, Ryan Garcia, like, moaning afterwards, is like, that's kind of irrelevant.
I just want him to go away now.
Yeah. He's moaning as well.
Devin Haney, mate.
Yeah.
If he beats him,
I would love that. He's one of them guys, like, you saw the first videos of him when he was, what was it, like 15, 16, he was hitting those, I don't even know what the tool's called, where the ball's on the end of a stick and it spins around really quick. It's like one of those swing ball things. Yeah. And he looked unreal. But then you see him online and you're just like, oh my God, he's so irritating. To the point where I actually want someone to
But basically, he just did what Tommy Fury's just done, basically, innit? Yeah. He's just basically got loads of women following him on social media.
Yeah. Tommy Fury went back onto Twitter, I think it was yesterday or today, and he was like, right, everyone, I'm back now. I was just...
But he's got more followers than Tyson Fury now, hasn't he? Yeah. So it's worked.
Profile-wise, yeah. But...
Got to prove it in the ring, innit? Got to prove it in the ring, mate.
Does he? Do you reckon he's even going to bother?
I don't think he is. I think he's just going to be any reality star now.
Yeah.
Like, who was that guy who was like Britain's worst boxer? I can't remember his name. He used to argue with him on Twitter all the time. He used to go out with Robin Deakin. He was like, you're famous because you went out with like Danielle Westbrook or some shit like that, and you are actually a terrible fighter, but you are still famous. I can fully imagine Tommy Fury in a couple of years' time just being, aren't you the boxer? And he's like, oh no, I was that guy on Love Island. Yeah. Because he went in there, he's had 2 fights. Yeah. He's probably like contractually now, he's probably going to be tied up with Love Island for a long time. Yeah. He's not going to be in a ring.
Makes you wonder, did he do Love Island to boost his profile, or did he do boxing to get onto Love Island? Like, either way, it's millions of pounds they earn anyway, either way, isn't it? Like, Love Island people.
Yeah, for a while.
Yeah.
And then, 10 years' time, it's back to working at Gap.
He wasn't going to be earning that in boxing for a long time.
No. But then what I found with this was really funny, because I don't watch it, my missus was one of those ones, but like 50 grand top prize or something nonsense like that. You think your brother's just signed an £80 million deal. I'm sure you're not too fussed about winning 25k.
Yeah.
Like you can't be doing too badly.
Yeah.
You're a tight knit family.
Yeah.
And like the way Tyson Fury tells it, like money's not their kind of aim in their family. Like so they all live quite modestly. How the fuck did we get talking about Love Island? This is the worst thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
That's probably a bit of an overstatement, but I feel like it is. Especially when we were talking about Canelo.
Yeah.
Golden Boy. Yeah, alright, so yeah. I don't think there's going to be a breakup. I think Canelo probably is a bit pissed off that he's lost his belt.
Yeah.
But I'd say it's probably more to, like you said, to do with just, listen, it's stop complaining. I'm not happy, in theory, but it's done, it's done.
Yeah.
And he can go back. Someone who probably, what's her name, Derevchenko or whatever, will pick up the belt. He'll probably fight someone like Golovkin.
Yeah.
And then next May, you'll have a big super fight again, and he'll get his belt back.
The Zone ain't going to be paying him like 30 million a fight to fight people like him.
No. And again, this is where it comes down to: is it money, or is it all about the belts, sort of thing?
That could pretend that is probably good management, isn't it? Because
Yeah.
the fighter just wants to keep his belts. And it's like, no, it's not worth your while.
It's not It's good management for Golden Boy because they're the one that take probably a hefty percentage out of it.
Yep.
So they're looking out for themselves 100%. That belt brings us no added value. I like that question. But yeah, I do hope that deal sours because I want De La Hoya out of the sport now. I really, really don't like him.
Your next Purge, eh?
Ooh. Yeah. He wasn't a defensive fighter, so I can't include him in this week's.
No.
Although he was dressed as an attractive woman once at the boxing. So De La Hoya's already gone. Yes. He's out. Alright, MTK card at the weekend. Michael Conlon was headlining. Didn't get to the ring till very, very late.
No. It wasn't even a Frank Warren show.
I know. It was a bit of a weird one. Like you know, as a fan, you sit there and you think, how the fuck you don't want to be watching a fight and thinking, how am I going to get home?
Yeah.
Like, I've spent 200 quid on a ticket, so I'm not going. But how do I get home from here?
Well,
that was in the middle of a park, though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So you probably just walk home. I don't know. I've never been to Belfast.
So if your house is on the edge of the park, you're fine.
Yeah.
If it's not,
I've
inside the city, you're fucked.
I'm just guessing they've got no train network, but they probably have. Everyone was probably within walking distance.
From the whole city's within walking distance of that fight. You're laughing.
Wow.
The whole city was built around the arena.
Small place, isn't it?
Perfect. Question came in from Matt Too Much Talking. It's how far can Michael Conlon go? Is he ready for a world title shot?
He
now?
is gonna win the WBO.
He's far for world title shot, I think.
He's so overrated. I really like him coming out of the Olympics.
I do rate him. I think his quality's there. But I don't think he's ready for a world title shot.
Who's the American one? Is it Shakur Stevenson?
So he'll get. I think because Valdez has vacated, hasn't he?
Yeah.
So I think
Stevenson beats him.
I think he beats him convincingly as well.
But it sounds like they're trying to do that fight with Warrington, St Patrick's.
Yeah.
Day.
That will sell, won't it?
That'd be amazing.
I think this is what it is. I think we were talking about it just before we started recording with Conlon. It's the Irish dollar, man. Like when you're talking stateside, like if he fights, it's gonna make a lot of money.
Of course.
If he fights around St Patrick's Day, which obviously they've been building that already. Like for the last couple of years, he's been on cards or he's fought.
His debut was at
headlining.
Madison Square Garden, wasn't it? St Patrick's Day.
Like he is gonna sell massive amounts of tickets. If they can build, you probably to set up his whole life, he just needs to build one fight that's gonna land on St Patrick's Day for a world title fight against ideally another Irishman. But Jesus.
Yeah, but it's no point having that fight. He's not ready for it. He loses, gets beaten up badly.
I think Bob Arum said that,
career?
isn't he? He's like, he's probably another year and a half away from it. But Bob Arum's not going to let that opportunity pass up in it to make a load of money off him. Like, let Shakur Stevenson probably go up a weight.
Which I think is probably the plan now, isn't it?
Mm.
He's so young as well. He's bound to be moving up.
Yeah.
And there'll be them two against each other probably in like 2-3 years' time at a higher weight.
But it's alright because Luke Campbell will be pound for pound number 1 by then, so still number 1.
Yeah. He will.
Any other thoughts on that card? I'll be honest.
I was watching sort of like
I saw
that.
the Conlon stuff after.
I saw the Conlon fight.
Paddy
that's
Barnes
right.
was on it, wasn't he? He won. And that young guy, Dennis McCann,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I saw
he
that.
was on it. He looked good.
Was it? The name got stopped straight away, didn't it? Like,
Yeah.
I should let that go. I thought.
And
Right.
Collins Jr. lost. Steve Collins Jr.
Really?
Pretty sure he lost. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Tell me, because this is the questions are coming in a lot about this now. We've had a few of them from a few different people, and it's does Yard versus Kovalev happen? The first part of this question, and the second part is it's coming twice, and basically who's going to win it?
I think.
Don't ask me who's going to win it because you will lose your money. Just bet against whoever
I think Yard is definitely going to win.
Do you reckon?
I think Kovalev's rubbish.
I don't know if you've gone fishing with Dwight.
A little bit, but he's got to be past it now, surely.
I think Conlon is past it. But when the fight will happen, I don't know, man. Before earlier up in the year, if you told me this fight was gonna happen, I would have said Kovalev wins this all day long. But now I'm just starting to sway a little bit now.
How do you think it's going to go? Like, how do you think it's going to be, the fight?
Honestly, if Kovalev can produce his basic performance, I don't think Yard can beat him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Yard's fought anyone of that caliber.
As soon as he gets hit by like a Kovalev punch,
Exactly.
he wouldn't
Like,
have been hit by anyone like that.
no, he's not been hit by, and someone that can box like Kovalev as well. Like, if people don't forget, Kovalev can box.
Yeah.
So he can box, man. Do you know what I'm saying? So I don't think Yard's been prepared for that. He's not prepared for that sort of fight. He hasn't fought no one like that.
I was like I said, I've always been a big fan of Yard, and I was well on the Yard hype train until even as late as Sunday. I thought by the time the fight comes around, he's going to be too fresh and too good for Kovalev. And then I was scrolling through the boxing results from the weekend, and I saw Pascal sparking out Marcus Brown, and I was like, oh yeah. You forget that these guys, even if they're getting older and they're losing a little bit, it doesn't always go the way you think it's going to be. Marcus Brown this time, what was it, 6 months ago, 7 months ago, we were sitting there talking about he's going to go on and dominate the division, and now Pascal's like the number one guy again. And there's like a list of people that have already beaten him.
And who's one of them?
That's what I mean. It's a strange place to be in, and I think this will be one of those ones where I can see Yard being very reserved, and maybe the occasion being too much for him. And Kovalev either outboxing him or catching him.
This is the worry, isn't it? The Yard does what he usually does, but just never gets the opportunity to land because he just gets done in before.
I think that's what it is, because we've seen him when he's been fighting even low level opponents, and he gets hit a lot. And again, we're talking about guys who are probably fighting the week before that. These are not elite fighters. I hope I'm completely wrong, because I'm not a hater. I would love to see. I'm not one of those that says, I want to see a British guy fight. We've followed Yard for a long time now. I would love to see him. Like we've spoken to him loads. We've seen him at shows. We've interviewed him. He's a cool guy. I would love to see him pick up a world title against a genuine champion. But I think, the cards are just stacked against him, in my opinion, right now.
I'm totally for what you just said. Like, I want Yard to win. It'd be good if he win. As much as I'm a big fan of Kovalev as well, but I think his time has passed. But I just think he'll be too much for him. I just think it'd be too much for him. I might change my mind close to the fight, but I don't know. It'll be a tight fight, but I think Kovalev will edge it in this moment.
You sure?
I'm going for a Yard win. I think Yard will win. A bit worried about like he's saying today that he's not really putting any special measures in place, like about his food and drink while he's over there. And it's like he said himself, he's not fighting in like a major city, and he sort of said, "Oh yeah, we'll just sort out. We'll go to the supermarket and buy some water when we're over there."
They must be talking shit, man.
I hope so.
Tunde cannot be that naive.
I hope so.
You can't be. You must know, and I'm not saying that it is a bad, but you know that things do happen in the box.
But I mean, that is his
Any sport.
hometown as well. And it's like, so yeah, go
But
to
I
the
wouldn't
supermarket.
even-
And it's probably his
okay.
uncle who runs the supermarket.
You don't even want to just go into the supermarket. You never know. Someone just rush you, and I'm not saying to like injure you, but just to just mess up your preparation, just to kind of make you think twice about certain things. You can't put yourself in them situations without putting those protective measures in place. I can only think that they say these things, hoping that they get back to the Kovalev camp, that they're not taking it seriously.
Of course.
You hope so.
You would hope so. Because for all Tunde's madness, he seems like a guy, he does know what he's doing. He seems like there's method in the madness sort of thing. Like he must, he's got into a fantastic position in his career right now. It can't be by accident. There must be a plan. There must be a scheme to this. It can't just be Frank Warren being a fantastically amazing promoter here. Tunde must know what he's doing to some extent.
What happens if Anthony Yard wins? Who does he fight? Does he go back to
Back
fight?
to Brentwood
Yeah.
with his WBO.
We fight on the
doesn't
Emirates
really sell
next, innit?
tickets.
We fight on the Emirates next. I want
think this is
to
what
ask
it
the
is.
fan. You know what I mean?
Again, gets Lethal B out again.
Yeah.
This is a strange one because I think the whole Yard thing as well. I think I said it before that it's a strange one. Like he comes across as someone who's massively popular, but having seen him at events where he should have fans there, he doesn't.
I think if he's going to go to the Emirates and try and sell it out, he's going to have to do it on a match day. Like he's going to have the boxing match after a football match.
Yeah, but the crowd was still in there.
They won't even be there. They'll have gone like 20 minutes before that.
That won't be allowed anyway.
No. He's got no chance of ever selling out 30,000 seats, 20,000 seats.
Do you reckon it's because of his platform? Because if he was a Sky fighter, I think he would have been. I think his popularity would have been elevated.
I think,
more.
like I said, having seen him when he was at the small hall shows, when we first used to see him, he used to have a massive audience, right? Obviously, he was selling a lot of tickets, but I think a lot of those ticket people, when he moved up the roster a bit and he suddenly wasn't becoming a ticket guy anymore, they all became entourage people. And I always say it's when we went to see him last year at Brentwood, and he was the headline event. He was the last. I think he was second to last fight. It was after the Kokoran versus Garton fight, and when they announced the Yard was coming out, people were leaving. No one wanted to see. No one cared. People were on their way out.
And he's not had fights, has he? Like he's not had any interesting fights.
He's
It's just
not
been
had
one-sided.
anything to build a fan base really. He's had nothing to build a narrative. Like there's no one apart from the Boazzi thing around him. There's no one to kind of talk about him. You want him to fight or anything. He's avoided all the domestic stuff, whether it's his intention. That's what the facts are. He hasn't fought any of them. It's a really weird place he's going to find it. If he wins that belt, he's just going to have to go for the top boys.
If he doesn't win that belt, though,
if he gets if the worst case scenario, right? Obviously for any fighter, but if he loses badly early, his whole career is just going to look like he's been a fraud. That would be the worst thing for Tunde as well, because suddenly everyone will be like, "I told you were mental," and you just put your boy in danger. So you just really hope he comes out and he's absolutely outstanding. But I've never been a fan of Kovalev, but I just think when people talk about the old men tactics and stuff like that, he's gonna know them all.
Yeah.
Especially, after having the 2 ward fights, he's gonna know every trick there is now.
But no, Tunde knows some other ones, I reckon.
Tunde's gonna have a lion ready to run in the ring.
They could do that over there in Russia. Like they probably have got lions. They just like go and spare.
If he came out with a lion,
Yeah,
oh, that would be
that'd
unreal.
be brilliant, wouldn't it?
Lions in the ring. I'd love that.
Fucking a lion chained on its neck. Fucking lead and walking it to the ring.
I like that. Dwight, we did this last week. We'll do it again anyway, because obviously no one ever heard it. If we were to have a British version of like Mount Rushmore with the presidents, but we were talking about British boxers, who would the four you have? It's worth me and Sean mention this as well. Like, we mentioned this to Dwight just before we started recording. He said if you could put four people on the side of a mountain, he was like, what? To push off? Like, no. We're not trying to kill these guys. Who are you trying to immortalise on the wall? Yeah.
Stay there forever, yeah.
That's it. You got four British boxers from any time period.
Do you know what I was trying to think?
Weight.
When you first told me, I was trying to think like four guys would definitely be up there. And I said I had four guys in my head, and I've been going around in circles like this whole time. But the first guy that I have to have up there is Lennox Lewis.
Yeah.
I think he's the best British boxer of all time, in my personal opinion. The second guy I have up there is Ricky Hatton, because that's just a personal favourite of mine.
Okay.
Yeah, not because of what he achieved in the sport, but just because of what he done as in fan base wise, and how much people he brought into the sport. Like, do you know what I mean, like people who were just like football fans, for instance. He brought those guys into boxing, and I know a lot of people that started watching boxing just because of Ricky Hatton, and they still watch boxing today.
Yeah.
So that's another one. Chris Eubank, Senior.
Oh, no. Yeah, let him go, man.
Nearly.
Booking his tickets to go and see this place.
I was like, where is this?
Yeah, because of just because of what he'd done, and his like, again, his high profile, stature, everything in the sport. Another one, the last one with Joe Kosagi, because of what he's done, like, you know, and yeah, I mean, he's done a lot, and okay, you could question some of the early fights in his career and everything, but he still, like, for what he achieved was massive for British boxing. So I don't think you can deny him that. Hall of Fame and everything. So yeah, those would be my four. Carl Froch didn't make my list. You know, 80,000 people couldn't cut it for me, mate. You know, so. But yeah, there's a few fighters I could have put on there.
Who nearly made the list?
Nazim.
Okay, yeah, that was in David's one.
Yeah, Nazim for me, it was between Nazim and Kawasaki. Was like they were like, I was weighing them up, and Nigel Benn as well was close on my list as well.
When you're talking about Hatton there, how far away in your mind, for the same reasons, is Anthony Joshua?
What, from Hatton? Or?
Yeah, because like what you described is pretty much Anthony Joshua as well.
Yeah, but I think the caliber of opponents that Hatton fought were higher, and the fights that Hatton were in. Okay, he lost those two major fights, but you know, he's been in those fights. Like, Joshua hasn't been in any of those fights. He's lost. Yeah. He's lost to someone who
he shouldn't have.
Exactly. You know, Hatton lost to two of the best boxers of probably of all time. Like, I mean, you know, two guys that go down as absolute greats, and he lost to both of those. Everyone else he beat. So, so I mean, Hatton. That's why for Hatton, I mean, you can't deny his fan base and the appeal. You know,
the amount of fans
what he did to Vegas, like, no one's done that. No one's done that. You know, Joshua went to New York and lost and didn't bring nowhere near as many fans. You know, from Hatton to go out and shut down Vegas like that. Like,
I watched the AJ fight again the other day.
I did. I watched it last night.
And it, like, you know, the more time you watch it, like, obviously when things are really layered. So I was watching it, so you know that he's going to lose. So I'm watching the crowd now. And when he goes down and you see people standing up and putting their hands on their head, and they're like, I'm just trying to picture what you're saying.
Yeah.
Just sitting there thinking, I spent $5,000
Yeah.
to
The
come
one that
here
cracks me up is if you watch it again, if next time you watch it,
tonight.
watch Jamie Redknapp every time, and he's looking the other way. He's not even watching it. Like
He's got
he
his
misses.
phone out.
He's pretty much missing
Yeah.
everything bad that's happening, and then he turns around and acts like he saw it.
I think is it Jack White was like
Yeah,
he's losing his fucking mind.
yeah.
He must be a Joshua proper
Yeah.
fanboy. He is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I watched that. I watched that. I watched the Bellew Usyk one.
Yeah.
There's a couple that I've got ready to watch when I'm feeling a bit low.
Oh, that Usyk one, I got it on my phone. If I get a little 10 minutes at work, I'm getting pissed off.
When you're just scrolling porn and it just comes up.
That's in my porn file, mate.
There you go. It's right there. It's right there. Sean, side of your mountain. Who's
Yeah, so
Basically.
last week I misunderstood the question a bit, so I went for some non-boxers. So I'm going to replace a couple of them.
yeah?
Who was on the side of your mountain? Come on, tell me.
No, because it was like British boxing, so I was like thinking, all right, Lord Lonsdale.
And then he brought him up, and I was like,
Frank
I've
Warren.
never heard of him.
Colin Hart.
I said I've never heard of him.
Colin Hart.
Like, did he fight- what weight did he fight? And Sean was like, I don't think he has. I was like, oh,
Yeah, he's
Alright.
all right. So let's go. I think I went Henry Cooper,
yeah.
just because of the era he was around. I reckon he would have been like, this is in Muhammad Ali's era.
Yeah.
Frank Bruno.
Yeah.
And I'll have to find two more now. I'm gonna go Joe Calzaghe,
Yeah.
and then I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'm gonna go Prince Nazim. Either him or Lennox Lewis, but I'll go Prince Nazim.
I like that. I can't remember whose Davids were, but I know he had Hatton, he had Joe Calzaghe.
He had 3 Kell Brooks.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Devin Haney.
He's got a dual passport now, apparently, yeah. Dave sold it to him. Mine, it comes across a bit Spencer Fearon like, because it's just anti like Brexiteers. There's no other way to say it, and this is not intentional at all. But I've gone with Lennox Lewis because I feel he is the greatest heavyweight there has ever been. Frank Bruno, because I feel he's, for us as Brits, he is the, especially in our age group, our era growing up, he was always one of those names. He was an actual celebrity.
Yeah.
He's not to the levels of like Ali and whatever. He transcended the sport. He was bigger than just being a boxer. He was a TV personality. He was an actual celebrity. I loved Frank Bruno. And then when he actually won his world title, I would have only been really, really young, but I remember watching it with my parents and it, feeling that elation that you don't get it very often in sport.
Yeah.
And even at a young age, I remember that, so that will always stick with me. Eubank Senior I had in there purely because he was the one that actually got me into boxing. I used to love sitting there watching it, watching all his fights. Growing up in a massive Ben household family, everyone loved Nigel Benn. Yeah, and I didn't. I just loved his madness.
Yeah.
Turning up on Monaco in a truck and shit, and I just thought this guy's brilliant. And Nazim Hamed. Yeah. Because he's just the greatest showman as a country we probably ever produced as a boxer. Yeah. Even when he was coming up and he was fighting guys that you knew he should beat. He just did it with so much style.
I love the arrogance and the swagger. Yeah. Like, nothing better than someone that talks shit but can back it up. Like, do you know what I mean?
It's when you see like Mr. Watson, it's just a shame that obviously he fought in the pre-HD era.
Yeah.
You see all these videos come round of him just standing square onto someone with his hands by his side. He's like, come on. And he's swinging, he's like, nope. Like, when people talk about like Lomachenko being in the Matrix and stuff, I think Nazim would just
he was doing
limbo out of the way and then hit you with a shot that no one should hit you with. Yeah. And he was just unbelievable. Like in this day and age, can you imagine how much money he would make? Yeah, it's true. He's the sort of person they said he's pay-per-view, he's having a big fight, it's 50 quid, you'd be like, oh fucking hell, alright. Yeah. Alright.
Shit. At this stage, I think last week, Dave got a little bit racial again.
Yeah, he wanted the things on the White Cliffs of Dover. I'm not even joking. He actually wanted them. And we were like, how are you going to do them? Never mind.
No black boxers on there.
His first one was Frank Bruno. We were like, how's this going to work? We're going to have blackface on the side of White Dover. Someone's complaining straight away, man. Whoever they employed to chisel that out and then paint over it. It's just not going to work. So yeah, we it's probably a good thing his segment didn't go out last week because it was unintentionally horrific. There's no other way to put it. It was bad. And we were pulling him up and he's like, I'm just going to stop talking now. This is just getting worse. I'm like, yeah, it is. Please do. But fair play to him. Like I said, he's not here today. Obviously, there's extenuating circumstances. So we do miss you, Dave. And you'll be back next week, hopefully. Right, so that was a nice little feature. So we'll try and do more stuff like that. I think next week, what we were supposed to do this week, we're going to do like the anti-wall of the four worst people you can put up there.
The guys you want to kick off the cliff.
Yeah. See, Dwight's added something to this already. The ones we're going to put on top of the good guys and drop kick off. So I like that. Oh, but we need to do our ones of all together. Who's got the most votes? So we all said Naz, didn't we?
Yeah.
So Naz is there. Pretty much all said Lewis or Bruno.
Yeah.
And we've got 2 Eubanks and 2 Calzaghes. So it's either Lewis or Bruno. Who do you reckon? So we've got Naz, Calzaghe, Eubank, and Lewis or Bruno.
It's got to be Lewis, man. Come on.
Yeah, Lewis is better than Bruno. But
Lewis is devastating, man. Look what he done.
Right, I'm still upset that Calzaghe's on there, but whatever. Right, so we've got Lewis, Calzaghe, Eubank, and Hamid. I'd be happy with that. As 4 to represent.
See, I'd say how's Eubank on there instead of Bruno?
Again, it's subjective.
Yeah.
Like, because in terms of, but then saying that, see, Bruno won his world title. Did he have a defence of it, or did he lose it?
He lost it to Tyson, didn't he?
Tyson was that his first defence.
Yeah.
So that's like almost Charles Martin-esque sort of style. And I'm not saying he's in the same calibre of fighters because he was a legitimate world champion. He beat a quality operator for his belt in an era where they were good fighters. Like Charles Martin obviously kind of just stole his one.
Yeah, that guy wouldn't have been anywhere near it. Wouldn't have been in the top 10 back then.
But yeah, for me, like Eubank, and you just look at the wars he was in with very, very good fighters. The Ben fights, the tragic Watson fight, but I mean, up until that point, that fight was just unreal. And the fights that he'd lost, he went back and he not necessarily won it again, but he went back to fight those guys.
Yeah.
And again, this is in the era where we were talking about these guys fought 10, 12, 14 times a year. They weren't afraid to get in the ring. They look at these fighters now like, I'm fighting once a year, I'm fighting twice a year. Gary Russell Jr. fights like every leap year. It's crazy. But yeah, for me, obviously growing up as a Eubank fan, I would put him there. Especially as now he's still so influential in boxing. Frank Bruno's coming way back into the frame now. Like you see him at all those shows. Obviously, like the Dubois stuff is really blowing up. Eubank he's always been ever present. It just seems he's never gone away from the sport. Even before his boys were boxing, he was still a massive part of the sport. In terms of British boxing, I think he's a really big person, really big character, and he always has been.
Yeah, most definite.
So we've got Lewis, Calzaghe, Eubank, Hamid. Fuming about that Calzaghe one, but is what it is. In terms of non-boxing related injuries, can we take 2 minutes to talk about Carl Frampton? The fights that don't happen.
You know what it is? He must have that sex ban must have hit him hard. It must have hit him hard. It's just, man, needs to lay it off, mate. Find something better to do during camp, like on your downtime, like, you know what I mean.
He was sat in his room and he was watching the Bellew Usyk video, and he couldn't resist it. When this story was, it didn't leak yesterday, but sources, I can't remember the guy's name on Twitter that said he just heard that basically he was reaching for a cup of coffee and an ornament was knocked and fell on his hand and broke 2 of the bones. Now he hasn't made weight. I'm just fucking upset. Something else has happened here. Something has happened in this. Maybe some testers have knocked on the door. Carl, we just need to do a quick test, and he's like, fuck it, I'm not here.
Yeah.
he's got out, and that's purely speculation. I would never say that anybody's a cheat or anything. But what's harsh right now is that I don't even care.
No, I think he's done. I think.
Yeah, I think that he's peaked. He's had a fantastic, amazing career. When you look at like the Santa Cruz fights and whatnot, and then the Warrington one obviously didn't go as what he'd expected. But he's on a massive slide now, and I just think the interest, I think it's gone now. He's always going to have his hometown or his home country support, as you would expect. But I think, whereas before people like us, we'd be sitting and talking about, I'm really excited about the Frampton fight. Now I don't care.
It's a shame.
And we say this like boxing fans were fickle as fuck. It's a horrible thing to admit.
You're hot, then you're not.
That's it. You, as a fan, and this is maybe what we were talking about earlier on. As a fan, you serve a purpose, and when you don't serve that purpose, I lose interest. But that's the same with anything in the world. Any service you pay for or you subscribe to or anything like that, as soon as you're not interested in it, I don't care. Obviously these are people, so you have to take that into consideration. But as I said earlier on, it's the entertainment industry. I'm not very entertained by what happens with Carl Frampton anymore. So my interest levels have dropped massively. It sounds so harsh to say it out loud, but I'm just being
honest.
Completely honest about it. I don't really care what happens now. If he said now that this Bone's done, I'm retiring, I'd be like, alright, fair enough, you had a good one. You had a really good career, fair play to you. But I'm not too fussed now.
No.
The Warrington thing was a real passing of the torch. And it'll be interesting to see what happens with Warrington now. But in terms of Frampton, I think this is the most high profile thing that could have happened in this fight. Even if he'd have come out and sparked the guy out in the first round, he wouldn't have got half as many inches in the papers as what he's going to get. Sean raised the eyebrows there.
Yeah.
Fair play.
Yeah.
Takes all sorts.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I don't know what's going to happen with that card, but obviously it's a real shitty one. But any other business, boys? Obviously, we're still no closer to any meat on the bones of the ones that we're all kind of waiting around for at the minute.
I reckon by next week the Joshua Ruiz rematch will probably be announced for that.
Can we just take 30 seconds to talk about Joshua today coming out and saying that he would fight him anywhere, doesn't care who the referee is, he would still whoop him.
Yeah, that means the fight has already been signed up and they're fighting in the UK and it's all been settled. For him to come out of that sort of shit, I reckon it's already been settled.
So it's got to be in Cardiff, isn't it?
Yeah, he's just now making that fight relevant again, and he's just talking
go and
up.
have a look on TripAdvisor or whatever it is, and go and have a look at the cost of hotels in Cardiff on that weekend.
Yeah,
because there's absolutely no doubt in my mind that Matchroom let them motherfuckers know, and they get a kickback off of that. Because when was it when he fought at the Principality before, and you looked months in advance, and the price of a hotel room was like £400 for a night, and it's like the tickets haven't even been announced yet, but there's kind of rumours of it. They know what's coming to town.
100%.
But yeah, the longer it goes on, what are your thoughts on the Joshua thing? Is he gonna win a rematch?
I think he does win a rematch. But you say that everyone says, "Oh, it's not bad if you take an L and you lose a fight in your career and everything." I think this one was seriously damaging to his stock. Like, this is like there's taken a loss and coming back from it, but I think this one's really done him a lot of damage. Like, more damage than anyone else, really.
I think I'd be really impressed if he wins the rematch. Not really because of the sort of quality of Ruiz and all that. It's just what happens in that fight if he just lands a big shot, Ruiz takes it, and then he just gets another 3-4 back, because that was pretty much what was happening in the first fight.
Exactly.
If he can overcome that, then it'll be pretty impressive. More so than that, like beating Ruiz, I don't think he wouldn't have got that much credit if he won the first fight.
Even going into this, he's still going to be the favourite, isn't he?
Yeah, he's not going to get much credit because he beats Ruiz. It's more going to be like getting himself over what happened in the first fight, because I think that's there's a chance that Ruiz might have just like broken his heart, I think, to be honest with you, and finished him off forever.
I'm going to go full Hey Bellew on this one, and I'm going to lump all my money on Ruiz to win by KO again.
Yeah, there's a good chance of that too.
And
there's something wrong with his fitness. Like there's something wrong.
It's unbelievably bad for someone at such an elite stage of their career.
And it's punch resistance as well. It's weird. It's sort of he gets hurt in a really weird way. It's like Amir Khan in a way, you know, where the legs go a bit funny and he sort of seizes up.
Like who was it that said it? It was Chris Eubank Jr. when he said his chin doesn't have an off switch. And he said like some fighters do. Obviously, he was talking about George Groves at the time.
Yeah.
And you see some fighters get hit.
Yeah.
And obviously, I'm not saying that Junior's fought the same caliber of opponents, but you see he gets hit and it there isn't an off switch. He just keeps going forward. I'm not saying if he didn't fought Canelo, if he fought someone like Canelo or something, it wouldn't happen. But you see when Joshua gets hit, it's like the eyes, they go. Like you said, the legs go, and then suddenly it takes 3 minutes, 6 minutes, 9 minutes for him to get back to where he was. And that's a worry, because at that weight, if someone you've got to be able to take that punch.
Yeah.
And it seems that whenever anyone lands one good shot on him,
you'd
6
fancy
minutes
Ruiz
to
to
wait.
land a shot as well. And I don't think Ruiz, if you watch that, you will know because you watched it recently. That third round where he didn't rush. Like he didn't rush. He knew
Ruiz went down.
Yeah, and then Joshua went down, and then Joshua went down in the very last seconds of the round again. And the commentators were like, "Why isn't he jumping on him?" And it's like, "No, he took his time." And
he knew.
Yeah,
I can
like
see
you don't have to rush with Joshua.
I can see it being a lot like
you've
the whole
got
David
5 minutes
Price
to land
thing.
another shot.
I think it can be like the whole David Price thing, where you're going to say you're going to give him a couple of rounds. He's going to start to slow down. If you can really hurt him, you know you're going to get at least 6 minutes of a fight to really try and do some damage at that point. Because like we said it after the Klitschko fight. See, when he got put down, he got up and he was a bit shaky. But then even after he went all out to try and blast Klitschko out, and he put himself out of action for like 3 rounds. He couldn't recover. And I think that people see that, and that is the template to beat him. And I hope that's not the case, because I do want him to win the title back, because I think that it's the best scenario for boxing.
I think
from our perspective, obviously not if you're Mexican.
Yeah, that's true. But I think that Ruiz fight just showed me, and just like woke me up in a sense where if he fights Wilder beats him. Wilder beats Joshua.
As in like Dominic Brazil style, like one
good shot,
and that's it.
Finish, mate. That shot that Wilder hit Brazil with, is Joshua getting out of the way of that? If Wilder throws that, is Joshua going to slip that? Is he going to block that?
Judging by, like I said, it's easy to be critical as a fan. I've never tried to do this training, but you know when you see the videos of like where there's a string from corner to corner in the ring, and they're trying to do the head movement under the rope, and he just looks like he hits the rope every time, or he kind of moves in like a box sort of shape. It's not a fluid thing. It's not something that seems to come.
You never see him do that in the fight, though.
I know, and
this is what I'm saying, though.
To try and learn that at this stage of your career,
you never see him do that in the fight. I've seen him do that in like probably 5 build-ups to the fights. Yeah, probably the last 5 build-ups, but you never ever see him show that head movement in a fight. Yeah. So I mean,
I almost feel almost like
he's too easy to be hit. To be honest,
I feel a lot with Joshua. It was almost like the whole Tyson sort of thing back in the day, where a lot of people were broken before they got in the ring. Yeah, you know the whole mentality of it. You just think, shit, he's gonna knock me out at some point. At some point, he's gonna get me, and that's gonna be it. And I think people were so afraid of it. And then you saw someone like Ruiz who was like, well, he got put down and he just took his time, took his count, and was like, right, let's do this again then. Let's go back to the plan.
But he got caught in like the round or 2 after with a massive right from Joshua and just took it.
Yeah. But I think at that point, Joshua had been down a couple of times as well. He probably didn't have much left. And that's the worry, is what you were saying. That obviously that stamina's there. If that stamina's not there, then that's a big worry. Because you would imagine he's at his peak fitness. What is he, 27, 28? Yeah. He probably should be as fit as you're ever going to be at this stage of a heavyweight career. Of course. But obviously, as more and more comes out about when that's going to happen, or if it's going to happen, we'll discuss it. But yeah, initial thoughts. That's where I'm at. So no other business, my friends.
No.
Right, I'm going to click save on this instantly and back this up before I try and do anything today. And thanks for bearing with us, guys. We tried to answer the questions from last week. Shout out to all of our new listeners as well. Big shout out going out to Hardip, who managed to get me a message at work last week asking where the podcast was. So shout out for your dedication, my man. We'll be back next week. Peace.
My style is impetuous, my defense is impregnable, and I'm just ferocious. I want your heart, I want to eat his children.